Arthur Rubinstein was asked how he handles the notes as well as he does, and he said, I handle the notes as well as many others. It's the pauses. That's where the real art resides. In the space, the openness, the spaciousness of the present moment. Falling into it again and again and again. To feel the rhythm of our connection to all that is, I am that I am. Is to fall into that spacious, present, now moment. And get connected to the rhythm of the universe that beats all around us, emanating from within us. Take a moment now, just to, however you do your pulse, whether it's on your wrist or on your neck. Just, I like to do my neck. And just feel the beating of your heart. And if you notice, there's a beat, then a rest. A beat, then a rest. A beat, then a rest. A pause. The pause is just as important as the beat. There's a rhythm to the heart rate. Aren't you glad?
Yeah.
It allows us to keep us going. We need times of beating and times of resting. Very important. When you breathe, when I go for a run and my breath gets all worked up, I can feel my energy getting excited, I'm running, or I'm in an excited state of mind, or I'm in a beta state of mind. When I calm down, when we calm down, as we said last week, we begin to feel the wonderful soothing waves of the alpha and the theta and the delta, that energy of calming down. Everything beats to a rhythm. The sun, the moon, the stars, the birds, the fishes, the mammals, the sky, and particularly the human body that we're in. There is a rhythm to everything. And in training to that rhythm, today's talk is called Rhythmic Entrainment, is when we come into synchronization with our life. That's what rhythmic entrainment means. It means coming into synchronization with your life. Not the life you think you should be living, but the life you're living now, here and now. We said last week with our brain, it's the left and right hemisphere coming into synchronization with each other, working together so we can hear and feel and think together and work in harmony with ourselves. To feel that harmony is very powerful. That rhythmic entrainment that we feel when we're in harmony with who we are and what we're doing. If you take a grandfather clock, two of them, two pendulums, and you put them together and they're not flowing together in synchronization, you know what happens over time? They begin to what? They begin to swing together. They come into synchronization. One speeds up and one slows down. They begin to entrain to the same rhythm, back and forth. When you have a radio signal, that's how old I am. I'm still doing a radio signal like this, pushing buttons. There's a moment when the signal locks into the frequency and boom, you have a sound happen. When two or more frequencies gather together, we lock onto a signal and something changes and happens. And we become part of a greater rhythm than just ourselves. It's kind of like the rhythm method. It's like people love. Nobody laughed the first service. People were sharper. You had more caffeine. I know. If you go to a sporting event, people love to go to sporting events. They love to because you get caught, what? In the rhythmic entrainment of a good game or a sporting thing. You love to watch it, get entrained to it. Wow, you get on that train. It feels good to be part of something and forget yourself for a couple of hours in a game. Dancing is that way. Dancing, tribal dancing, to boogie, to dance, feels good to get entrained to that. I had somebody pull me aside on last Friday during our Mardi Gras, and they gave me that little look that, oh boy, I'm going to get something here. They gave me the little finger like this, please come over here, please. And I went over to the side, and they said, you know, when she brought me here, and a lot of you men are here because she brought you here, right? Let's admit it. I thought, look, I'm going to a church party. Oh, how boring. There's going to be 5 people dancing in the middle of the floor. I'm going to be sitting here bored to death with 25 other people, and I can't wait to get out of here. He's going, this is the best party I have ever been to. You people in Unity know how to boogie and have a good time. Enjoy yourselves. My God, I can't believe I'm in the house of the Lord, and yet I feel like this is what it's supposed to be about. excitement, dancing, rhythmically entraining. He said, I could barely get up on the dance floor. There was no room for me. There were young people and old people and middle people, everybody dancing together. I said, we know how to rhythmically entrain with joy here at this church. And we're not afraid to say that joy is the sure sign of the presence of the beloved, and get involved in that joy. The orbit of a really good speaker gets you caught up in it. You get caught up in the rhythmic entrainment of a good speaker. And that's true for Mahatma Gandhi, and it's also true for Adolf Hitler. You get caught up in the orbit of that energy. You get pulled into it. You begin to feel its energy. You begin to resonate with it, as she says. And that kind of resonance is what we're here. It's not about whether it's good or bad. It's that there's a resonance to everything. There's nothing wrong with a knife. But if you grab the blade, you'll have a problem with it, right? Jesus said, I am entrained with my Father, and my Father is entrained within me. And I'm training you to get in touch with the same Holy Spirit that I'm in touch with. He's a living example, as other masters are, of what happens when we get entrained with the Holy Spirit. The Holy Spirit is that morphogenic field of our connection and our awakening. And Jesus came, like other teachers, to teach us techniques of how to lock into that signal and show us how we can entrain to the rhythm of who we truly are. What's interesting, and you all know this because we're part of it, is what happens and has happened over the last 100 years. We have gotten entrained with an insane rhythm of movement. We are moving so quickly and so fast. You see it in the way people look at each other. You see it in the way we walk. You watch it in how we stand in line in Costco. You watch how we're wired, beta zone, Red Bull crazy energy, we said last week, yeah? Everybody's caught up and going faster and doing more, and we think, whee, this is fun. But we are out of rhythm. We are out of sync with who we really are. We've made something very unnatural normal. And I'm telling you, it ain't normal. In order to come back to the moment, we have to practice. Practice coming back into the moment over and over and over again. Nothing happens next. Stop nexting and texting your way out of the present moment. You come into the one that you're in. You're missing your whole life. It's right here. Nothing happens next. It's as good as it gets. People, when they go to a zoo and pay $25 to go see an exhibit, the average person who spends that money spends between 5 and 10 seconds looking at an exhibit. And there were some people at the zoo that were complaining, where are the hippos? I never get to see the hippos. You don't get to see the hippos because the hippos stay down under the water for 90 seconds. No one's willing to wait long enough to see the hippos. Do you feel that? Do you feel what that's like? Lower the lights for a moment. See what this looks like. You'll know who I'm talking about here. That's you and I when we're all revved up and crazy, right? Going too fast and training to a rhythm that is not natural. All of us know about this, and that's only really one step away, friends, from someone pulling out a weapon. I'm telling you, that kind of consciousness has us all going crazy. It does, so we have to look at it. Not that we don't text, not that we don't look for what's next, but when we're only caught up in that, that's what happens to us. We get crazy. We're over-revved, over-amped all the time, and wondering why we have no peace, wondering why we're exhausted at the end of the day. Jesus taught us how to stay in touch with an entrainment, a method that allows our pendulum to slow down so we can come into rhythm with ourselves and entrain to a higher frequency. It said this way: studies have shown that setting an intention and sending healing energy has a physical effect on the recipient. When you send an intention, every major physiological system in your body is mirrored in the body of the receiver. In addition, when the energy of two people comes together, I love this line, The one with the most cohesive quantum waves will often set the tempo for the other. Can I say that again? Chicken skin. The one with the most cohesive quantum waves will often set the tempo for the other. The most ordered brain pattern often prevails. In other words, when a peaceful person sends calming thoughts, the recipient registers the peace in his or her body in a way that is measurable. How many of you have ever been in the presence of the Dalai Lama? You can walk into a room with thousands of people and you immediately feel the energy of his calm presence. It's called in our book biophoto emissions, that the body is an emitter of photonic energy that's always going on. We're always plugging into energy and sending energy out. All of us are beings of light. When I read that and said this physicist proving it in a laboratory that we are photo emitters of energy, I just went, oh my God, what this guy is saying is that we are light. That there's light energy coming forward through us. And the light that we send out has an effect on others. We are all biophotonic emitters of energy all the time. The quality of that energy is completely up to each one of us individually. And when two or more get wrapped up in that, we become emitters of light. The Course in Miracles says, you are light. Yes, you are. That's the real you. You are light. Yes, you are. And that's the deepest truth. There's a singing in your heart and a light that shines in all that you are bringing through. Watch it grow. Let it lead you on your way. Let that light shine into all those darkened places in you because you are light. So when a Dalai Lama walks into a room, you feel his light. You feel his presence. You feel the photonic energy in his body emanating that light back out. And by the way, before he sees anyone in any of the days of his busy activities, he spends 4 hours in prayer and meditation. He's been doing that for years and years and years to get in connection and rhythmic entraining with that blessed energy. I had the great gift, you did too as well. Where's John? John, we saw Thich Nhat Hanh. You'd be in a room with 1,000 people, and here would walk in Thich Nhat Hanh, and you could feel the energy of his connectedness to calm embodied peace from the years of his mindfulness practice. That is the kind of effect that we have on other people. We may pretend we don't, but we do. It goes on to say it this way. We can no longer view ourselves as isolated from our environment, and our thoughts as the private, self-contained workings of an individual brain. As observers and creators, we are constantly remaking the world at every instant. Every thought we have, every judgment we hold, however unconscious, is having an effect. With every moment that it's noticed, the conscious mind is sending forth an intention. All the time. So Jesus gave us a blueprint on how to fall into a place of being more powerful and how to make conscious choices about the energy we want to entrain with. We had a friend that we just recently spoke to on the phone who's a minister of a huge mega unity ministry. And he was saying, I'm at the end of my rope. I don't have any energy left anymore. I can't do this one more day. I'm going on a sabbatical in the summer for 2 months. And we said, we hear you. I understand that feeling. You guys know. He said, well, what are you going to do with your time away for those 2 months? And then you could feel his brain go back into the beta wave frequency. He had this list of 6 things he was going to do. And we said, that sounds like you're headed for the same train wreck you're headed for now. And he could hear him pause for a few moments and fall into the space. We said, why don't you do this? Why don't you try? We love to suggest this. Try a 10-day Vipassana meditation retreat and then go on your 2-month sabbatical. And you'll have a whole different experience of what you're doing. I don't know whether or not he's going to do that or not because most of us are afraid to actually take a look at what's going on inside and create the spaciousness of mind to see what kind of energy we're connected to and what kind of energy we're emitting out into the world. But Jesus did it all the time. We stand in front of him and say, he's our way shower. Well, listen to what he did. Very busy man, very busy guy, busy schedule. After he dismissed the crowds, he went up the mountain by himself to pray. And when evening came, he was still there alone. But now more than ever, the word about Jesus spread abroad. Many crowds would gather to hear him and be cured of all kinds of diseases. But he would withdraw to a deserted place and pray. In the morning, while it was still very dark out, he got up and went to a deserted place, folded up his legs, sat underneath a bowie tree, and prayed. Pray means to come to rest. No one can do this for you but you. You have to decide to come to rest. I cannot do for you. That has to be a practice you choose to do every day for yourself, to come to rest. And this chapter is on your intention to pay attention to that pause, to that place in you when you enter into the spaciousness of who you really are. When Maureen and I were younger, and we have a lot of young people in our congregation now, which is just really wonderful, with lots of family and kids. We remember when we were 30 years old. We were really, 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 really busy. Maureen was working a full-time job as a midwife. I was working my job. We had 3 children, one with a terminal illness. We had 12 chickens, 2 bandy hens, 2 turkeys, 2 horses, and a cat and a German Shepherd dog. You might say we were just a tad busy.
And birds.
And birds. We had birds, too. How do you know about the birds? Oh, that's right. You were here for the first service. The birds. We had everything you can imagine. And so we decided at 30 years old that we needed to take a moment of time through an intention to be together every day. And so I would make coffee at night, which I still really do. I make my pot of coffee at night. And then I would go upstairs in the morning with the coffee, and we'd sit down, and we had what we called our coffee ritual, bless you. And we would sit together and wake up together. Before the kids got up, before the chaos started, we would just sit together. Because what we found was when we didn't, we just kept being like pendulums pounding up against each other. You know, if you're not connected to him, you to her, you find out that the chaos takes over instantly. And so we would spend time getting in a rhythmic entrainment with each other, and then we'd open the door to all the chaos that you could possibly consider. But at least we were working together and moving in a direction of setting an intention to have a time to stay connected. Because particularly with the people that you're most intimate with, and you don't stay connected to them, everything else falls apart. Do you notice that? I notice that myself. I really do. So you notice when you're doing that honk, 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 boom, 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 revving your engine because there's some appearance that's not doing what you want it to do, and you pull off to the side of the road. You say, whoa, dude, I can't believe how crazy. I need to stop for a moment and calm and rest before I say something and do something I'm going to regret later. That's how you practice in the present moment. There was somebody who came up to me after he's not here, he's in the first service. He said, I actually did something that you talked about the Sunday before. There's this guy at work who's my boss, and him and I, we constantly get at it with each other. And he came up to me, and he got right in my face, and there we were about to do what we always do, have this argument with each other. And for some reason, I saw him. I saw his face. And I said, you know what? I don't need to decide to do this. He said, I just took a step back like this. Just took a step back. I didn't entrain with his anger. And I got on a different train of energy. And I felt so alive. It only took me seconds to do that. That's all it takes. He said, I couldn't believe it. Why have I ever waited so long for such a simple practice to step out of it and just be there, watch it. And this is anger. This is anger. And then what happens is you unhook from it, and you're no longer manipulated by it. You no longer get on that train of going faster, more is better. You take a moment to no longer need to always be nexting and texting your way out of the present moment. What's wrong with the one that you're in? Hello, people love you, they want to see you. Come back into the moment. This is where you're needed. So let's go to our lesson summation for a moment. Rhythmic entrainment. Arthur Rubinstein was asked by an admirer, how do you handle the notes as well as you do? He answered, I handle notes not better than others, but the pauses. Ah, that's where the art resides. When my voice started to go out of me for the talk, because I'm coming to the end of my rope, believe me, to go to Hawaii, you know how you get. Just feeling that sense of, oh, wow, I get to go, but not yet. And it's like, oh, well, look, I've got a froggy voice. And then I meet her, this woman here, Lisa, and I both have been riveting with each other. Rivet, rivet. She's got the frog thing going on, too. I went, so it's just a froggy voice, so what? It'll pass. Everything passes. You know, rivet, rivet, live it, live it. Don't worry about it. You'll be fine. You know, it's not going to stay forever. Pause for a moment. It's okay. 1, all of life requires the rhythm of rest. Our Western religion of moreness, more money, more recognition, more satisfaction, more love, more information, more influence, more possessions, more security, has left us no time to do this. 2, prayer means to come to rest, not straining for more things that you want or you think you need to get happy, but coming to rest with where you already are, so you can be filled with what you've already been given. Jesus, in his very busy life, showed us by example that human beings need to take time and rest and pray. When we take the time to pause and slow down, we are then able to make conscious choices about which rhythms we wish to entrain with and which ones we choose to leave behind. I call that mastery. Any moment that you're able to do that and come back to it again and again and again, you can then come in and train with whatever's going on in your life. Oh, I'm busy now. Oh, I'm taking care of the children. Oh, I'm running down the block because I'm involved with training for this. I'm over here at work. I'm doing that. But you're not so caught up in it anymore. And that, my friends, is a great gift, not just for yourself, but for the benefit of all beings. You literally recharge this biophotonic emitter that you are and allow it to nourish you from the inside out. You get entrained with the same energy that nourishes a Jesus, that calms down a Dalai Lama, that allows a Thich Nhat Hanh to be present one day, one moment, one breath at a time. Practice, my friends, not just for yourself, but for the benefit of all beings everywhere. And now I get to say something to you I've been waiting to say for at least 3 weeks. Aloha, mahalo, hui ho.